Scenes of the DC riots went viral. Here's a look at some of the images that were fueled by social media and how it played out online.
Police are squabbling with protesters. Oh, there we go.
Is that a gun?
Rubber bullet.
Fake news, no more!
Yes, yes. This is our fucking.
And why did you want to go in?
We're storming the Capitol. It's a revolution.
Those images show the might of social media. It also demonstrates how they can result in things spiraling out of control if left unchecked. In the weeks leading up to the riots, there was plenty of violent rhetoric and advice on weapons. For a closer look at the power of social media, we're joined by Assistant Professor Saifuddin Ahmed from the Wee Kim Wee School of Communication and Information at NTU. Professor, first off, let me ask you, how did social media contribute to the chaos that we saw coming out of DC yesterday?
Well, this time the call for rioting came from the president himself, so from a video posted to social media. So it's not necessary to look for clues on what caused people to assemble at Capitol Hill. But let's talk about the days leading up to the riot. There was this wide belief among Trump supporters that there was election fraud. And social media played a significant role in creating a negative, distrustful mindset. Even my research shows that the perception of election fraud increased in days leading up to the election. So the problem is the misinformation on social media that has been building up. And it was no different in the last few days than it has been for, let's say, the last 2 years. All social media censorship has been reactive rather than proactive. So they see no reason to intervene. But after the riots started, the platforms took swift action. In the last 24 hours, the platforms have set up a new precedent by taking strict action by blocking Donald Trump and also deleting photos and videos related to the riots. This does show us that they can do better, but just do as reactive actions.
Well, US social media giants are scrambling to crack down on violent rhetoric and advise on weaponry, which ramped up drastically in the past few weeks. A little bit too little too late, perhaps, with this?
With regards to, I think, the social media platforms taking action, we could say that it's better late than never. I feel they may have disregarded the most serious threat of willful manipulation of Trump supporters and focused on the low-hanging fruits of just banning certain communities. Though there are two things that can be said in defense of these platforms. The first is that Twitter and Facebook aren't the only part of the problem. The problem is of the larger ecosystem. It should be noted that even when there are cases where Twitter or Facebook have been increasingly cautious and they have banned certain communities, these communities have set up their shop somewhere else online. This does mean that rather than relying on one or two social media platforms to set up policies, what we need is legislation for greater accountability, which I think is far more challenging. And the second point is that these social media companies can't possibly moderate all content. When a content is flagged, it usually takes a day or two before the account is suspended or the post is deleted. Facebook was allegedly used to incite violence in Myanmar, as we saw, but they claimed that they lacked the resources to moderate these content. But it seems from the flurry of action in the last 24 hours that they can do much more, as we have seen. It's just that these platforms are for-profit organizations and they choose to look away when the context is not important. So the rules we see cannot be universally applied.
But Professor, do you think, though, that these DC riots will be a turning point for this social media ecosystem that you've described? Do you think that more regulation is going to be needed? Will we see that?
Well, I certainly feel that in the American context, yes. This specific issue of the riot can be branded as an incitement to riot. But to my understanding, the riot is just, as I said previously, is part of a larger problem of the misinformation that's happening. So in the American context, there has been repeated calls for greater social media moderation, regulation, and this is a bipartisan issue. So you have both the Democrats and Republicans, they agree on this, though for different reasons. But definitely, I think the coming year we'll see a lot more legislation to do with misinformation and accountability, especially when the Democrats control the Senate. Well, as for social media companies, I feel in the near future we are likely to see major platforms come out with more expanded policies and clearer stance on hate speech and violence. Though where and when would these rules be applied in which situations, that remains questionable. I mean, we have seen Twitter being reactive and banning right-wing groups in the US, but we have not seen them do the same in, for example, let's say India. So how would these rules be applied? We have to see. But in the American context, definitely yes.
Okay, many thanks for your thoughts this evening. Professor Saifuddin Ahmed from the Week in We School of Communication and Information at NTU.